Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night wherever you are located and watching this. It's me, Brandy. Hello. So today's video, I don't know, I'm so excited to do it. I'm not happy about this at all. But today's video is something that I'm meaning to do, just not on this level or on this scale or talking about it in this way. But I wanted to just have a conversation and open up the floor to discussion as well. I am going to be talking about this whole Disneyland changing Splash Mountain into Princess and the Frog. I am in the minority of people probably who doesn't really want this to happen, but not for the reasons like other people might think. The reasons that Disney is doing this, I don't agree with. However, I am well aware that Disney is going to do it. And I am well aware that it'll probably be a spectacular ride. It'll probably be so much fun. And I'm glad that a lot of people will be able to enjoy it when the time comes. I'm not on the fence about it. I'm really anti Princess and the Frog taking over Splash Mountain. And this video is going to explain why I'm not for it at all. If you're for it, that's great. And I mean, it's on you. And this isn't by me not saying like I'm never gonna ride the ride, because when Disneyland opens, when it's safe to do so, I will ride it and I will probably enjoy it, because that's what happens. You may not like things that happen at Disneyland, but some stuff you do enjoy regardless. If you're completely anti-Disney, then this wouldn't be for you anyway. You wouldn't care. But I just wanted to talk about it because I don't agree with the reasons why Disney did it. And I don't really like the idea of it. I think that there could be so many more different things that you could showcase Princess and the Frog, but this isn't one of them that I think is actually a really good idea. I've had multiple people message me, because the news broke, I think yesterday or today, June 25th. The news broke today that Disney was going to be doing this. Disney themselves said that they were going to redo Splash Mountain with Princess and the Frog vibes. From the Disney Parks website, the title of this thing is called New Adventures with Princess Tiana Coming to Disneyland Park and Magic Kingdom Park. So not only are they redoing Splash Mountain to have Princess and the Frog theme in Disneyland, they're also taking it to Florida as well. It says, today we are thrilled to share a first glimpse of a project Imagineers have been working on since last year. Splash Mountain at both Disneyland Park in California and Magic Kingdom Park in Florida will soon be completely reimagined. The theme is inspired by an all-time favorite animated Disney film, The Princess and the Frog. We pick up this story after the final kiss and join Princess Tiana and Louie on a musical adventure featuring some of the powerful music from the film as they prepare for their first ever Mardi Gras performance. Now, this is actually really, like, I think this is going to be cool. This is why I don't want them to do this, but the way they're doing it, I'm okay with. Because at first, when we heard that they were even contemplating it, and a lot of people had, if you're a part of the Disney community, or if you're someone who keeps like tabs with what Disney does, a lot of people had signed petitions, especially during now because of Black Lives Matter. A lot of people have signed petitions to revamp Splash Mountain as a whole anyway, and put Princess and the Frog here. And I was against it when I first saw it, because the first thing I thought was, she's a frog the whole movie, so how much of a black princess are we actually going to get in this ride? So it makes me it makes me happy that they're willing to not base the ride off of the movie per se, but we're still going to have her being a black princess the entire time. Like, it's after she's already become a human again. And that was something that worried me, because the whole film, they stripped her of her black identity and made her a green frog, except for 10 minutes of it. And so, like, the first 5 minutes, sorry, neighbor is deciding to saw some stuff, so we're good, whatever. But, so the first 5 minutes of the film, or the first couple scenes, she's black, and she's doing her thing, and she's almost there. And then the rest of the film, she's a green frog, as well as her prince, who happens to also be a person of color. And then after the movie ensues and they do the final kiss, then they come back for the last scene, the last song, and they're both their respective people. And I was worried that the ride would take that same turn, because it would be like, yeah, she's gonna be a princess. It's Princess and the Frog themed, but she's gonna be a frog the whole time, and that wasn't, I didn't want that at all. So to know that they are actually thinking about making her human the entire ride is a plus, and I appreciate that. I still don't want it to happen, but I'm glad that they're taking this step to making the ride interesting. Tiana is a modern, courageous, and empowered woman who pursues her dreams and never loses sight of what's really important. It's a great story with a strong lead character set against the backdrop of New Orleans and Louisiana Bayou. In 1966, Walt himself opened New Orleans Square when it became the first new land added to the Disneyland park, so it feels natural to link the story in the incredible music of The Princess and the Frog to our parks. Another problem I have is Princess and the Frog came out in 2009, right? 2019, 10 years later, they considered revamping Splash Mountain. 2020, Black Lives Matter movement hits, and it's hitting hard. And now they have decided to go with the Princess and the Frog theme. Now, if you notice in the first paragraph, they wanted it to be changed, but they never said what they wanted to change it to until probably the petitions came out saying that they wanted to revamp Splash Mountain into Princess and the Frog because everybody was like, we want to get rid of Splash Mountain. They don't agree with whatever is going on. So that's my only problem with this, is you've been talking about revamping it, but it feels like they didn't know they were going to do Princess and the Frog until Black Lives Matter movement hit hard. And to avoid a headache, they were just like, we'll put the Princess and the Frog in there. But we have no idea what they were going to revamp it as, because I had been to Disneyland up until I couldn't go anymore, and Splash Mountain was thriving. It wasn't closed. The only thing that was still closed was Haunted Mansion, and that was because they were getting rid of Jack Skellington and all that. So I have no idea what they were trying to revamp it to, but it looks like to save their butts with this Black Lives Matter movement happening, they decided to go ahead with Princess and the Frog. The voice of Princess Tiana and Tony Award-winning actress Anika Noni Rose shared, "It is really exciting to know that Princess Tiana's presence in both Disneyland and Magic Kingdom will finally be fully realized. As passionate as I am about what we created, I know the fans are going to be over the moon. The Imagineers are giving us the Princess and the Frog Mardi Gras celebration we've been waiting for, and I'm here for it." Nothing wrong with that. Like, yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm just not happy with how it was done. The approach to retheming or plussing attractions, as Walt Disney referred to it, begins with Imagineers asking the question, how can we build upon or elevate the experience and tell a fresh, relevant story? How can we build upon or elevate the experience and tell a fresh, relevant story? I don't know how many rides in Disneyland tell a fresh, relevant story. I don't know what they mean by a fresh, relevant story when dealing with attractions. Can someone tell me what is fresh and relevant about Big Thunder Mountain, or what is fresh and relevant about Winnie the Pooh's Adventures? Tell me what's fresh and relevant about the Little Mermaid ride. They literally copied the movie. That's all they did. I'm so lost. Okay. This is so funny. Okay, I'm enjoying myself now. This is pretty funny. We're almost done. It's a continuous process that Imagineers are deeply passionate about. And with this long-standing history of updating attractions and adding new magic, the retheming of Splash Mountain is of particular importance today. The new concept is inclusive, one that all of our guests can connect with and be inspired by, and it speaks to the diversity of millions of people who visit our parks each year. Okay. This new retheming of Splash Mountain is of particular importance today. So that sentence right there lets me know you weren't planning on revamping it to that issue last year when you were talking about revamping it. I don't think the thought of Tiana came up at all until it became of a particular importance today. Okay, the new concept is inclusive. I don't know. I'd have to ride the ride with some of my friends who are of other ethnicities and tell me if they feel inspired by the Princess and the Frog ride. I need you y'all to let me know. So when we all plan our big friend trip to Disney, let me know if the Princess and the Frog Splash Mountain is inspiring to you. Please let me know. Let me know when that happens. Let me know. I might mess up her name, but I'm thinking it's just Charita Carter. Charita Carter, the senior creative producer leading the project at Walt Disney Imagineering, said, "Like Princess Tiana, I believe that courage and love are the key ingredients for wonderful adventures. I am delighted to be a part of bringing this fun-filled experience to our guests." Like, oh my gosh, I don't like talking about, like, I really don't like talking about other, like, people, but I don't understand this sentence. Like Princess Tiana, I believe that courage and love are the key ingredients for wonderful adventures. At what point in this film does Tiana say that courage and love are the key ingredient for wonderful adventures? At what point in this film is Tiana happy about being a frog and the adventure she's got to go on while she's a frog and the love and the courage that it takes to go on those adventures? At what point in this film is Tiana pro frog and pro adventure? At what point? At what point? Let me know. Because my thing was she had courage and she had a lot of heart to get her restaurant and then was turned into a frog by another frog prince that was bamboozled into being turned into a frog. And then she went on a quest to try and not be a frog anymore. And on the way found love. But she didn't, she wasn't like that the whole movie. So otherwise she would have been enjoying her life as a frog and we would have not had a movie because she didn't like being a frog. She says she's delighted to be a part of bringing this fun-filled experience to the guests. I'm excited for the ride, but I don't like this. I know this is going to be a long video. Bear with me. I could really care less. This is a conversation, so it's going to be long and we're here for the ride. Pun intended. For Imagineers, change is rooted in a tradition set by Walt Disney, who encouraged new innovations, new ideas, new scenes, and current storytelling. And the experiences they create can be enjoyed by guests who visit our parks from all over the world. Fair. As a part of the creative development process, conceptual design work is well underway, and Imagineers will soon be able to conduct preliminary reviews and develop a timeline for when the transformation can start to take shape. Stay tuned for more. So here's my problem with this. If this had come out last year, I would have been fine. I would have been annoyed because I love Splash Mountain. I have actually watched Song of the South, which is what the ride is partially based on. So I know the history behind the ride and I don't have a problem with it. I think in order for people to actually get an understanding of why Splash Mountain is the way it is and why some people have a problem with it is context. So the movie Song of the South is no longer in circulation. It has been banned. It's banned in North America. You cannot acquire it here. If you can, you're probably doing it illegally. So just kind of be mindful of that. I've seen it and I understand it and I have context with it. Now, the ride is based off the movie. You would never know that unless you've seen the movie or you've heard the history. So like if I were to take my little cousins or my niece and my nephew to Disneyland right now and have them ride the ride, they would not be like, oh my gosh, like I love this movie. There's nothing in the ride that is even correlated to the movie except for one particular thing. And I will say, I talked to my dad about this, and that Splash Mountain is one of the only, if not the only rides at Disneyland / California Adventure that tells a story and also gives a good life lesson in the ride. Now, you have to pay attention, obviously, to hear it and to see it, but it's one of the only rides that is not just for pure entertainment. It's a fun ride. It's one of the best rides there. Because it's such a fun ride, but it's entertaining. But if you can also if you can actually pay attention during the ride, there's a lesson to be learned. And the lesson is to listen to your parents so that bad things don't happen to you. That's literally the message of the ride. And I think that's why I love it so much, because it's one of the only rides that actually does. You start out seeing Brer Rabbit, and he doesn't want to stay in the Briar Patch with his family. He wants to be out on his own. And as he's doing that, he encounters Brer Bear and Brer Fox, who prey on rabbits, like Prey on rabbits, and they want to eat him. And he escapes them and then learns the lesson to stay home and be with your parents because they know better than you. And that's all the ride is. They will take those characters in this movie and then put it with the ride, but there's no correlation of it. Like there's no Like, Song of the South has it has a bad rep for obvious reasons. Like, I'm not going to be up here and say, like, oh, this movie's so good, and, like, it's, like, no, there's some things in there. However, I think there's a lot of misinformation that's being brought out there. Like, the slaves that are in this movie are not slaves at all. They're sharecroppers. So they're not portraying slavery as being like a good thing. They're sharecroppers. Now, there is a scene in there where they're singing to go to work. Now, obviously, that's not accurate. It's not, I don't know anyone who sings on their way to work. Like, even when I was doing retail, I wasn't singing on my way to work. Like, I'm happy to go to work today. Like, no one does that. So that's not realistic, and especially not realistic for Black people back in that time. And I totally get that that's like a misrepresentation of the time, but we're also dealing with a Disney film that's marketing itself to kids, and at a time when Black people aren't that important to market to. We don't care if we get your stuff right. It's Disney. Are we really shocked? Are we really shocked? It's not even just Disney. It is white Hollywood. Are we shocked at the things that they do? We shouldn't be. If you are, welcome to 2020. I'm glad you've caught on. There is some racist stuff in here, and there's stuff that's just hilarious. For me as a Black person, I enjoy this movie. Like, there's things in here that I can acknowledge they're misrepresenting because I know why they're doing it. I get why it's doing it, and I get the time it was made. And because they did take the steps to pull the movie so that it can stop being mass produced because of all of the backlash they got, I understand that. Movie aside, Splash Mountain the ride has absolutely nothing to do with the movie. If you want to go from the plot line of the movie, it barely correlates. The same story of the Briar Patch is in the movie, but it's a device that's used to tell the little boy in the movie, like, listen to your parents and stay home, because he wants to run away from home too. And then you have the Uncle Remus character, who is the Black character, and he's the one using these cartoons to tell the boy how to live his life the best way possible and be safe, listen to your parents, don't do stupid things, how to outwit your enemies and stuff. The story could be better if you actually, like, you know, if you don't do some racist stuff to it. Isn't that how everything would be better if you weren't racist? But it's the world, and there are people who are like that, hence why the movie is pulled, because enough people had a problem with it. And those reasons are valid. Like I mentioned, I understood why people had a problem with it, but it didn't take away from how much I enjoyed it either. So I enjoy the film. I enjoy the music in it, and I can laugh at some of the stuff that happens in it because of my experience. Other people may feel uncomfortable because of their experience, and every experience is valid, and it's fine. That's why I wanted to have a conversation about it, because redoing Splash Mountain with the thought of the movie in mind makes absolutely no sense to me. Because not only are characters from Song of the South in Splash Mountain, but animatronics from America Sings are in Splash Mountain as well. They're at the end. They're the ones who are singing Zippity Doo Dah the whole time. However, everyone seems to only focus on Song of the South. And the problem I have is that if you strip away Song of the South and you have these characters here, no one would care, because that's how much they're not correlated to each other. Like, people have a problem with Splash Mountain being so heavily influenced by Song of the South that they're not even realizing that it's not that influenced by Song of the South. Like, at all. Like, there's not one point in that ride where I personally felt offended by anything that's happening. And that's why I don't agree with changing the ride at all. I don't find it helpful or beneficial, or like, man, and it's about time. I don't feel that way about changing the ride. Now, I don't have a problem. Well, I did have a problem with them changing it to Princess and the Frog for reasons I addressed earlier, but knowing what they're going to do with it now, I don't have a problem with that. My main issue is people wanting to take down Splash Mountain for problems that aren't there. They want to bandwagon, and if I offend you, I'm really sorry by what I'm about to say, but this is how I feel. I think that the Black Lives Matter movement is crucial. It's important. It's valid. Like, I would be stupid as a Black person to be like, I don't think it's that important for blah, blah, blah. No, it's valid and it's important. However, I feel like a lot of people are using the Black Lives Matter movement to try and fix everything that they think might be wrong. This ride is one of the things that I'm like, I can't get behind it. Yes, Black Lives Matter, and I get that they've shafted Princess and the Frog for way too long, and I'm mad about that in and of itself. However, I don't think that Splash Mountain is as bad as people are making it out to be, in the hopes of like, Black Lives Matter, let's do this instead. And I feel like Disney did that by saying that they wanted to revamp Splash Mountain. We don't know how they wanted to do it, but because of Black Lives Matter, because of those petitions, they're willing to do Princess and the Frog, which to me feels like very much of an afterthought, and I don't like it. That's my opinion. I don't care too much for it being an afterthought. And that's very much what it is, because they're capitalizing on the time of Black Lives Matter. So how can we appease Black people now before they get pissed about things later? Let's go ahead and make this Princess and the Frog, because it's been about 10, 11 years. We haven't done anything for Tiana except for put her in one show where she sings and then ends the show, put her in maybe one parade, and that's kind of it. Your only Black princess that you have caught the short end of the stick, and now you want to do something about it because a lot of Black people are getting mad at you. That's what this feels like, and that's why I don't agree with them changing it. What they're changing it to is going to be cool, and it's going to be rad, and these pictures look amazing, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. However, the reason they're doing it I don't like. There's nothing in Splash Mountain currently that's from Song of the South that would legitimately make me that upset to where I need to change it. If I felt that way, I would have asked for them to change it somewhere in my 25 years on this earth. A lot of people are finally coming out and speaking about the fact that they are not happy with the fact that there's no Princess and the Frog anywhere in the parks. What else is new? I remember quite a few years ago, everyone being like, yo, you've got so many restaurants in New Orleans Square that it was almost too easy. It was too easy for you to actually just go ahead and change the name of one of the restaurants to Tiana's Place like it is in the movie. It was way too easy for them to have done that in the past, and everyone would have probably not had an issue with Splash Mountain, but they didn't do it. And that's the thing that makes me mad, is this is the reason why they're changing Splash Mountain, is because people are getting angry and upset, and they're willing to not give in their coin to people who may have even smell like they don't like Black Lives Matter or the movement or Black Lives at all. And I mean, it's nothing new. It's just something that made me mad, that the fact that they're actually, this is what they're doing it for. To change it to the Princess and the Frog, it was very much of a cop-out, and it was like, it was a last-minute decision. I can almost guarantee you that, because they wouldn't have said that this change is important for now. Like, it was not, Princess and the Frog being in Splash Mountain isn't important for now. It's always been important. The lack of representation for Princess Tiana is evident in the parks all the way around. When that movie first came out, it was rare to even see any merchandise in Disneyland. I was shocked when I flipping saw her even walking around in the park after the movie first came out. I was like, okay. And when I saw her, the first Princess Tiana I saw was a light-skinned Princess Tiana. And I was like, okay, well, at least we have a Princess Tiana, but I know for a fact she's my color or even darker. So why did you cast a light-skinned version of her? And so seeing that, and then being like, you could have like, the amount of things that have happened to gratify other princesses in this time frame is what makes me mad about this particular scenario. I'm happy that Princess and the Frog is getting her own ride. Like, she's getting her own ride. I'm happy we get to see Tiana. And I'm even more happy that they're going to take it where she's a Black princess and we get to see her Black the whole time. Now, should this have been done sooner? Totally. It should have been done within 2 years of her movie coming out. I don't know. I was about to say, I don't know why it took them so long. I know exactly why it took them so long, because they were going to push it off and push it off and push it off because no one cared enough to raise any kind of awareness for Princess Tiana. There was a minority of people who actually cared enough to be like, hey, I think this is wrong, but not enough people. So they pushed it off, pushed it off, pushed it off. And now that Black Lives Matter movement's happening, now she gets her time. It's been so long that they're doing it now, and it's like, better late than never, but why is it always late? Why should it be late than never? I feel like this entity isn't late than never. It's just, we're gonna do what we want to do, we're gonna do what we want to do, and then if you touch our pocket, if you hit our coin, if you try and ruin our profits, we'll listen to you. How about that? Like, we'll listen to you because we don't want you to damage our coin later on down the road. Case in point, Beauty and the Beast in Fantasyland, that whole restaurant that is catered towards Beauty and the Beast, they redid it, and that happened when the Beauty and the Beast live action movie came out. When Emma Watson popped up as Belle and was singing about days in the sun, that's when they changed Beauty and the Beast, that whole little area over in Fantasyland when you're walking toward past Big Thunder and you go that way behind the carousel, that whole food area. That's when they turned that into, oh, like, let's give you some gray stuff because it's delicious. Like, let's give you that as a dessert, and let's give you different themed Beauty and the Beast treats. Yay! Oh my god, Frozen came out. What a hit. Like, let's make Elsa have the whole last 5 minutes of the fireworks show for Frozen. She's singing Let It Go and we're gonna blow up everything in sight. Like, let's do that. Great. Oh, Star Wars. Star Wars just came out. Oh my gosh, like, great. Let's build a whole world for it and let's keep giving merchandise to Star Wars. But to change one restaurant to say Tiana's Place and just serve the same food you've been served, I'm tired. I'm happy for Princess and the Frog. I'm sad that Splash Mountain is going away because I enjoy that ride so much. But I'm happy for Princess and the Frog. If you have any common sense, you could see that this is a tactic. And am I gonna stop liking Disney? No. I'm an annual pass holder. Y'all know this. But I can also disagree with this in things that they do. And it's very much of an afterthought. There's so many movies that have come out that they've catered to because of reasons that you know. I don't have to say why that Princess and the Frog was put on the back burner. I don't really have to say why. You know why. It's the reason why Frozen was put on the front. It's the reason why Beauty and the Beast was put on the front. It's the reason why Star Wars and Rey is put on the front. And it's unfortunate after everyone's movie comes out, all of the things that they do for them and then don't do for other movies. Like Pocahontas. What has she got going on in the parks? Nothing. What's Mulan got going on in the parks? Nothing. What's Jasmine got going on in the parks? Nothing. Coincidence? Probably not. It looks like we're gonna give your Black Princess a ride so you guys won't say that we're X, Y, and Z. And I see through it. I'm gonna enjoy the ride anyway, but I see through it. And it is what it is. And I know, like, people are gonna be like, well, if you care that much, then you should just not stop putting money into Disney and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, no, that's not gonna happen. Those are my thoughts on this, and if I keep going, I'm gonna get more mad, or I'm gonna go back and just reiterate and keep saying the same things I've been saying. But that's how I feel, and that's what's going on. Like, these pictures, obviously a team had to create these pictures. However, they don't have multiple designs for what they want. And I don't know how long it takes to create, like, digital art, because I'm not a digital medium. Like, I don't do art digitally. I don't know how long this would take to make. However, I can see this taking about maybe, I would guesstimate, like, any of my digital art people who, like, know how to, like, create. I don't know. I'm looking at this. I've seen people make art in a week that looks to this scale. So I'm trying to see if they could have made this right after Black Lives Matter became important. Because they literally only have one picture of concept art. So if you were really contemplating on making this Princess and the Frog since last year, don't you think you might have some inside shots as well? They literally have what the outside would look like. They're sharing a first glimpse of a project Imagineers have been working on since last year. So last year to now, let's just say December to now is 6 months. And if you, like, December to June is 6 months, don't you think you would have had some concept art that would have been like what the inside might look like? But you know, that's just me. I'm just saying. I'm just giving them from December to now. Like if they worked on it from June to June, it's been a year pretty much. And you have one picture. This was a first glimpse of a project. I've had first glimpses that I've seen from Disney where like 3 pictures come out at a time just so we can actually get a vibe. But this is literally only the outside. I'm done being conspiracy right now. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's gonna be a long one, but it's a conversation that I wanted to have with people who'd be interested in having it as well. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation in the comment section. Please be civil, please be respectful. Say what you mean what you say it nicely, please. But that's all I have for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more content. I don't know what I'll be making. I didn't think I was going to be making this today, but the news broke yesterday that Disney wasn't going to be opening, and I was like, okay. And then the news broke this morning that they were doing this. Hope you all have a great day, have a fun day. Enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your night, have a good night, have a good morning, get some breakfast, get some dinner, get some lunch, get some sleep, and I will see you guys next time.